All right, guys. So this is Endless Space 2 review by Seth. Now, the thing about this video is I've never heard of Endless Space 1, let alone, yeah, versus 2. So I'm going to be learning everything about this game from the lens of Seth, our boy.
Sseth here. Humanity. One day, we will inevitably reach the stars. And one day, we will
maybe.
inevitably reach other intelligent, sentient, yet utterly alien races. We will
What? Women? What? Chat, what did he mean by this?
shake their many appendages, engage in trade, exchange ideas,
I hope
and
so.
even
God, I hope so.
attempt diplomacy. But
God, I wish women were
we
real.
all know, inevitably, how this has to end.
No. What, the star?
Welcome.
I lost tracking. Don't be off-put. I come in peace. There was a sun explosion real. Oh my god. Holy shit. I was foreshadowing. Alright. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna back up a bit.
Welcome to Endless Space 2. Endless
dear.
Space 2 is a 4X
Oh,
game,
God.
which, if you're not familiar with, stands for the 4 X's. Expand, explore, and exterminate all xenomorphs.
Never heard of that.
Before they do the same to you. Probably, most likely.
Big
I've played this
intergalactic
turn-based
war
sci-fi
game?
strategy intensely for the better part of a month. And before
No,
that, about 2
I would
years.
not
And I
recommend it.
must confess, it's pretty damn good. Also, there is a story, and it is absolutely
Oh.
critical you understand the lore of this game. In
Really?
the current job market, Endless Space historians are in extremely high demand, and
Oh, in New York. It's got a pull.
both
Oh
starting
my god.
salaries of
160.
about 300K. Most of the Fortune 500
is
companies
true.
hire at least 2 of them in order to understand what the fuck is going on. The
I think you know what? I'm pivoting, guys. I'm pivoting my career.
story is told to you through wiki articles.
I'm
The accuracy
quitting my
of
day
which
job.
is questionable because
Oh my God.
I've edited several articles and they still haven't caught me. In the universe of Endless Space
haven't
1
caught
and 2, there is or was an incredibly advanced civilization called the Endless. What happened
That's
to the
what they
Endless?
looked like.
Well, there's less of them. The end. Roll credits. But no.
The game is over. Did you guys enjoy the video? I didn't want to say, was that Tyler? Was that Tyler one? I didn't want to be like, that's Tyler.
They revolutionized the galaxy by creating dust. Dust is
Dust.
used as money in Endless Space 2. which
Empire
it isn't.
dust.
It's an autonomous cloud computing network of nanomachines that get smarter as the cloud gets bigger. They're capable
Ooh.
of self-assembly, self-autonomy, and farming crypto tokens at rates never before seen in the
We're gonna be rich.
known galaxy.
Oh my
However,
God.
they developed a little too hard when they figured out how to upload your soul. So
What the heck? Is this the lore? Is this the lore of the game? There's like space dust, but they're actually nanomachines. Nanomachines, son.
them went on to live as immortal machines running on the 5G network. These were known as the virtual endless. The other half,
Oh.
known as the concrete endless, considered them an abomination.
What am I looking
because
at?
It's hard to consider a sentient laptop
Don't
as intelligent life.
ever change
Even
this-
harder
Oh
when
my
you
God,
find out
he's
it's
gone.
still running Windows Vista.
All I wanted
Unable
not-
to reconcile
Oh my
their
God.
differences, the endless decided to
Oh
end
my-
each other. The
This is
virtuals
so... Guys, this is so messed up.
unleashed bioweapons on
Let's
the
keep
concrete.
watching.
The concrete sent malware to their mailbox,
Oh.
forcing them to run 3 billion instances of Bonzi Buddy.
They're
Needless
too
to
sexy.
say, they wiped each other out. The end
I'm glad that he ended that statement with "needless to say, this is what happened. They wiped themselves out," because I have no fucking idea what he just said.
Endless came to an end, but many centuries
Endless
later,
came to an
other
end.
races figured out space travel, picking apart the ashes and remains of a civilization long forgotten. In the
Oh,
galaxy of the Endless
plundering.
is where our story takes place. So, what do you do in
Yes.
Endless Space 2? Well,
You
you
collect
pick a
dust.
spacefaring civilization and you try to win. But what is victory? Victory can be anything: money, technology, intergalactic conquest,
like
or
Civ,
even
like-
weaponizing the influence of e-girl streamers to absorb every sentient race in the galaxy.
Women aren't real, so that can't happen.
Because, as we already know, a sentient brain is still capable of falling victim
see
to
VTuber?
becoming a simp. The path to victory is your own free choice. The game itself
By the way, if you would like to watch my Twitch streams, twitch.tv/sunexplosion,
itself is very customizable, meaning there's no reason to pick any speed except fast, any galaxy besides ovoid, and if anyone dares pick a custom race, we are all going to collectively form a non-aggression pact and hunt you down. Starting off, you only have a single planet. Your home system is very modest, and you need to rapidly scale your operations if you hope to compete with the rest. To do so, you'll need to explore, expand, and colonize new systems. Exploration is very simple. You send an exploration vessel into the great unknown and watch as it dies to pirates. Before that happens, you'll want to
they tried.
find as many uncolonized systems as possible. On each planet, there's a chance of finding curiosities. These are the slow, pulsing rings you see on display. To explore curiosity, you need to send a probe. It's quite similar to the probe minigame from Mass Effect 2.
Pyramids.
If successful, the game will let you know, together with a small reward for finding it before anyone else. These can be anything from...
This is literally just Civ. Also, let me, really quickly, I'm going to turn my AC off.
Strategic or luxury resources, planetary anomalies, or even the start of a random quest line. The point of curiosity is to try and guess which star systems are worth colonizing. In general, any system less than 3 planets is garbage. Any system with only cold planets is garbage. In fact, ask enough players and you'll find that every possible star system ever formed by the laws of physics is still garbage.
Yeah, people have some pretty high standards. You basically never find one that's pretty good. There's kind of like one good thing in a star system, I guess.
Colonize them anyway, because I like the animation that plays each time you do so. There's actually an animation for every type of planet, which I didn't know, because who the fuck colonizes a gas giant as their first choice of planet? It's like,
oh my god. Oh, can you even do that? What do you mean you colonized a gas planet? Like, there's nowhere to go.
Where are we dropping, boys? Oh yeah, on the burning gas giant. How are we meant to walk on a gas giant? Very carefully. Anyway, I'm losing track. You choose
if it's dense enough. You can colonize anything with enough research.
The star system, and you pick a more reasonable type of planet to be the base of your colony.
What a pretty bird.
Most factions can't settle a system immediately. They need to form an outpost, send colony support, and convince any other players contesting the system to cease their aggressive expansionism. You can do
I will convince you by trading you these bombs.
This through liberal policies, such as stealing their food supplies, or less liberal policies, also known as an interplanetary blockade, with the sole purpose of starving them to death. Typically, this is how you greet other players. Otherwise, you blast their ships out of orbit, and you get sent a formal complaint, to which you respond accordingly. Diplomacy is an interesting concept.
I'm sorry about that. I'm going to do it anytime I'd like.
We do have other things to take care of. These are diplomatic channels, not social media. Again? Are you just lonely?
Because
it can't be real.
Like many games of a similar nature, diplomacy is a tangible resource. In fact, everything is a resource. If you want to condense down the Endless Space 2 experience, you're going to be spending hours of your life trying to increase the 5 colors: green, orange, yellow, blue, and purple. Respectively, these are food, industry, dust, science, and influence, or FIDSI for short. These are the combined economic outputs of your systems. At the beginning, you don't have very much. You can't do very much, so you need more, a lot more.
Let me
guess. Need food to grow population. Population contributes to the economy and gives you different bonuses depending on the race of that population. But
I love the aesthetic of this game. It's so cool looking.
So you need to build improvements. To do that, you need industry. More industry, more production. But you can't have industry without research, and you can't have research without science. Besides unique variations, every faction follows the same unified tech tree, supporting...
Okay. So each faction will determine your tree, and that tree looked like big as hell. But like, since it's basically based on your faction, it's not that bad. There's only a few options within that tree, and it's not like it's not a Path of Exile situation.
Larger industry requires dust, a lot of dust, and if you're planning to go to war, exponentially more dust. To even make the formal declaration that you're going to erase someone off the face of the galaxy, you need influence. It is the most precious resource and represents your combined political power. The bigger your influence, the bigger your sphere of influence. This game.
So you can just kind of be like, yeah, I declare. You can't declare war on somebody until you're like popular.
game doesn't work on national borders. It works on
Pretty
raw
privilege.
intergalactic peer pressure. Have enough influence, and you'll absorb everyone without even lifting a finger. Besides other players, there are also minor factions.
Did you know
That's so
that Nigerians
interesting.
govern a
This is
sector of
cool.
space occupied by several different humanoid species?
If we say yes, will you feed us?
One of those species is the Benkarans. They occupy just 10% of Nigerian space, but take up nearly 80% of the space in Nigerian prisons.
Maybe they commit more crimes.
These are civilizations
What did I just watch?
that are advanced, yet not advanced enough to avoid a
Space
simulation. These
racism?
are very diverse and can be
No,
anything from
not in my
sentient
media.
jellyfish, reformed assassin droids looking
Star
for God,
Trek.
or even
That did not
moving
age
chunks of
well.
coral reef
That's
remotely
memeable.
piloted by a sentient supercomputer the size of a
By
planet,
some-
which
by some
in itself was formed
tasteless
by
people.
random chance. Minor factions exist to be absorbed by other players.
I'm surprised
Why?
that was in
because
Star Trek.
you get a free system out of
That was
it
pretty
and a
surprising.
unique racial trait. Never
You're diving a little
underestimate
Warhammer
these
lore.
because
Yeah. Wait, you're right. I like Warhammer, but Warhammer is like so racist. It's funny, like in the comical, everyone hates everyone, but that was targeted. It's almost like a cartoon, but like in this, I was like, I don't know, that made me feel a little uncomfortable. The entire episode was actually about spacism and prism stuff. Oh my god, it's got to be a lost episode at this point.
a single good trait can win you the game. There's also pirates.
It's okay. Everybody finds me irresistible.
Oh dear.
Pirates exist to occupy every system you ever like and reduce the overall quality of your time and space. Luckily, pirates are business-oriented and will not trouble you as long as you pay. Also, I like putting pirate marks on all of my friends' colonies. Consider it an indirect way of saying, maybe you should move. Now you've got the basics
Oh my god.
down. What are you meant to do? You're meant to try,
He's
and
a
you're
little-
meant
he's
to
a-
fail.
he's a
Endless Space 2
warmonger.
gives you freedom. Freedom to fuck up and suffer the consequences. The tech tree is subdivided into 4 distinct categories: military, economy, science, and empire. Develop your military and you get bigger guns, but you don't
Okay.
get the ships to mount them. You need to develop your empire for that. Then you need a military-industrial complex to
okay.
facilitate the production of your armada, which forces you to tech economy, not only for developing your
So you basically need everything. This is very much so like this is a he says review. This is like a tutorial, really.
systems, but for
This is a super
supplying a
tutorial.
constant stream of dust, because bankruptcy is not an option. For reference,
No!
one technology
Bitcoin
unlock
is
is
down.
the difference between abject poverty
Far
and having
more.
the largest intergalactic trade company
That is
incorporated
Tyler.
on your home system. Why
Oh.
stop there? Get access to the galactic commodities market as well, because it's a
Commodities?
biological requirement for me to speculate the stock market in every game I play. Do all
There's no way there's a fake stock market here. I'm fucking screaming. That is so fun. I want to gamble on the stock market.
that and realize you neglected science, which is a problem because every single research you ever research makes every following research more expensive to
No.
research. Endless Space 2 is a great galactic scale
Shouldn't it make it
balancing
cheaper?
act. Every action taken is counterbalanced by the opportunity cost of every action not taken. Here's an example. Let's say you
Okay.
found a nice system, but you can't colonize it because each type of planet requires the respective technology to touch ground on their surface. You might spend a bunch of
Okay.
turns teching towards that. As a result, you get a new system. However,
You get a new system, okay. You can't just land. You have to have like ice landing, and you basically have opportunity cost.
your lack of tech leaves you oblivious to the contents. You later find out that ideal Mediterranean planet you picked is filled with dinosaurs. The water is made of mercury, and the atmosphere gives you cancer. If you pumped everything
And what's different from Earth?
into science and exploration, you would have found a much better system nearby. Because you explored the curiosities,
Oh.
you know there's plenty of strategic deposits without the risk of melanoma. Even the worst colony has great
Well.
potential. Given a development plan, systems can compensate for deficiency using luxury. Low birth
Wait, no, this is real. Just make low birth rate. Give them something. Give them shiny stuff.
Rate, spike for water with red sang. No production, use Jadonics. Do people still keep using the term war criminal in your presence? Despite the fact you've clarified multiple times that enemy civilians are indeed active combatants, bring out the hallucinogenic grapes. Given time, any problem can be solved. Given money, any problem can be solved instantaneously. I don't know exactly how we're going to terraform a planet in a single turn, but I know the next time I look, there better be a fucking jungle instead. There's a lot.
Hard to be upset at the war crimes of your leaders when you're covered in so much luxury. I mean, look, you get new video game. Oh my god, new video game.
A lot of ships in this game. Unique.
You don't even see a war crime.
They're all
New
fully
video game.
customizable, limited only by the type and number of modules available. Primarily, you're going to use them to intimidate your enemies into submission and to intimidate your friends into working a little harder on their friendship. Your only control over combat is the loadout, formation, and tactics used by your military. The rest is a simulation played out by the computer, where
hey, buddy, we're good friends, right? All right. Well, I really need you. I need some help here. I need you to keep, making these military machines for me. I don't have time. You're gonna have to make them faster, or else.
Each time a ship explodes, the cinematic at the end of Diablo 2 where Tyrael throws his sword at the World Stone and it explodes into a billion chunks of wood? Yeah, that's exactly how every ship explodes in this game. Combat is very simple. There's different weapons, which have different accuracies depending on the range of engagement. Flat cannons shred anything up close, including long-range ballistic missiles, but they bounce off armor. Lasers cut ships in half at mid-range, while beam weaponry works at every range, unless they have shields. You can absolutely get away with filling every slot with a flat cannon, choosing the default tactics
card. So why wouldn't you just use beams all the time?
Every fight. Besides interplanetary combat, you can also directly invade. This works on the same principle, which means I'm still going to use the default tactics card, which just so happens to be preemptive orbital bombardment.
Preemptive. Make sure there's check to make sure there are citizens there.
Civilians will die, but that is a
I knew it. I knew that was gonna be what was gonna follow. Sseth is given a universe. It appears that Sseth is like, all right, how do I? What to do? The citizens!
I'm willing to make. Your chance of success depends entirely on whether or not you have replaced your troops with a mobile suit Gundam. If you conquer a system, you can choose to...
I like these games. I like the sci-fi aspect. I like exploring space. I like, the strategy. This is definitely an interesting, dare I say, interesting playstyle. Citizens, don't you mean food source? God damn it!
Either spare the population or take a massive hit to your public approval rating by re-educating and reintegrating the native population into the fucking soil. Which...
Oh, okay, I see.
It's a good time and segue to talk about politics. In Endless Space 2, you have
So when he says into the soil, re-educate them until they are dead. But, I mean... It seems like you could also maybe buy him some luxuries. Grapes. I've heard something about the grapes here. They're apparently pretty good.
You have Senate, and you have an obligation to represent your people, which is why we have a dictatorship. Power to the masses is power to the upper classes, and any proletariat will see the wisdom of my words. Politics is all-encompassing in Endless Space 2. Any action you take,
there's an actual
sponsor, will shift the political axis of your entire empire. As
and you need popularity,
the opinions of your people are difficult to manage. Motivations difficult to guess. There's a total of 6 different party ideologies you can choose to support, each two a pair of polar opposites.
What's going
religious and scientific.
Whoa, I thought I saw something crazy for a second.
Ecological and industrial. On top of that, you've got your government. This controls your party representation and how much corruption you can get away with.
Get away with? Do you get away with? I mean, it's just kind of something that happens.
Democracy has the widest free party representation. It is also the most corrupt because I have no control over my elections. Republics and federations are generally more progressive, offering less representation and more opportunities to correct the result of any rigged election. Dictatorship completely removes the need for underhanded tactics and ensures that all voices are heard and represented by the single party I choose. Every political party holding office has representatives. These are not your average man.
They're super special, sexy.
They're heroes recruited from the Academy. But what is the Academy? You know how I said dust
Damn it. Every sci-fi anything has the Academy.
Currency, and dust is essentially a cloud computing nanite swarm. Now, imagine smoking it, because the Academy does exactly that. You're hiring nanite augmented crackheads to rule your empire. These are very diverse in both race and specialization. They each have their own unique and interesting backstory, except Scales. Scales is literally a giant bat that likes to eat zucchini. How is she qualified in any way to be my senator? I don't know, but the
it's a she. I love that. I like her a lot. How is she? How is Scales at all qualified? Because look at her. Would, must, dare, will even. Whoa, hold on. Scales and my mod team? Hello, I am interrupting your video yet again. Every single video I do this. Remember, only 17% of you guys are subscribed. Oh my goodness, we can get that up to more. So if you want to subscribe, that would be great. Thanks. Just a little reminder. Okay, back to the video. I kind of like her. What's wrong with Scales? Leave her alone. That being said, I liked a lot of the designs. I liked a lot of the floating robot heads. That was cool.
The people love her. And who am I to say no to that smile?
They love her. I do too.
Political parties. I'll tell you. It's called legislation. And legislation controls the focus of your empire. You can pass...
Okay, this is one of those games where I need, like, a course. Like, I'm going to watch this video, and I'll have, like, a general idea how to play this game. But I'm not going to really know how to play this game. It's going to be 30 minutes, and I'm not going to know how to play the game. And then if I wanted to learn how to play the game, I'd have to watch another tutorial on each part of the game. It's like a 10-hour commitment to learning to play this game.
Laws respective to each party you have in office. The leading political party also enacts their own automatic policy.
You need a course of someone who loves it.
Let you research high-tech without unlocking it. Religion gives you the moral high ground to escalate a cold war without legal consequence.
When you go to make a game, like, do you start with like, oh yeah, I want it to be big as fuck. Yeah, I want this game to be the biggest fucking game ever. I want it to be very hard to learn. Or do you kind of just go in with like, we'll kind of make a space game. And then like 5 years later, you're like, oh shit, I need to make a course and sell that on like YouTube. Be like, all right guys, go to my course down below. Probably a feature creep maybe. Damn, I don't know.
Industrialism uses the economy to finance the economy by expanding the economy. How could ecology possibly compete? Well, by giving the public announcement that we don't exactly know how to live on a volcano, so let's do it anyway. Militarist rhetoric not only removes the political cost of war, it actively
the best of us comes out in hard times.
Go to war with absolutely everyone. And finally, the pacifists can, at any time, without your consent, force you into a state of peace.
They're pacifists. They will pacify. Is this Reggie? No, this is Sseth. Really good stuff.
Law costs influence, depending on the size of your empire. The longer a party stays in power, the more laws you have to choose from. For example, state-enforced eugenics and mandatory sterilization of other races who aren't your own is a relatively simple law to pass with minimal political experience. Asking everyone to work overtime requires a level of finesse and eloquence only seen in the most Machiavellian of politicians. Unlike many 4X games, Endless Space 2 has quests. Most of these are faction-specific story missions with brand new political options to suit your empire. They're quite interesting. They give you something to do, and most of all, they give you permanent upgrades for the rest of the game. You also have multiplayer. How do you play multiplayer? It's quite simple. You all connect to a game, you play for about 50 turns, you forget to make backups of your game, and then everyone collectively desynchronizes. Welcome.
No, wait. Does that mean you have to start
To
over?
Endless Space 2 multiplayer. With all that covered, you've got a general
it's
idea
over.
of how to play Endless Space 2. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. The factions. There are currently 12 different races to choose. I'm gonna cover them all. The Sophons are a race of intellectuals. Despite
this is the good
they
part.
talk in a British accent. They're overdeveloped
Do they?
geckos that love science and hate personal health and safety. The less people know
I like these guys a lot. I love the design. I love that they're so expressive despite being robots.
technology, the faster Sophons can obtain it. If you want a fairly vanilla faction with an easy science victory, go play the Sophonity. Conversely,
Science
Sorry,
victory.
Link. I can't give credit. Come back when you're a little, richer.
we have a Lumeris, whose entire ethos, motivation, and philosophy can be crystallized in one word: money. For the
Money.
Lumeris,
Yeah.
no problem is too great, as long as you throw
Money
piles
victory.
of money at it. They also
Guys, why is it that like high key? I know that like in these games you can do science and culture victories, but high key in real life, why does it seem that it's why is money the only true win for a lot of these countries? Okay, hold on.
have my
Hold
favorite
on. Hold on.
faction leader,
You have my
Commerce,
attention.
baby. The lifeblood of this and any other galaxy.
who is probably responsible for every single trade cartel in the known galaxy, and arguably runs more of an economic crime syndicate than a legitimate empire. But
Here, give me a second.
I don't care, because Big Titty Fish Mommy
me, did you hear
is
something?
going to buy the galaxy, and
Oh my God,
I'm
she's
gonna
so
help
cool.
her. If you like making obscene amounts of cash, amphibious mommy milkers, or just winning the game by accident, play Lumeris.
By accident. Wait, I kind of want to play her. Oh shit. Those are. I don't know why an amphibian needs boobies like that, but I'm literally so okay with it.
Imagine rampant over-industrialization and the fractured ecosystem that follows. Given such dire conditions, what do you think
They're
is the most
expensive.
reasonable course of action? You can A, put all your resources into ecological initiatives and repair the sorry state of your planet, or B, digitize yourself and become a gaming laptop. The Vodyani chose the second option. Even better, they made a church out of it. Belief is strength, worship is endless, and
Oh my
heretics
God.
are nothing but essence for the harvest.
This is Warhammer.
Unlike other races, the Vodyani
Is this
don't
not the Votan?
colonize. They
Whoa.
travel, they land, and then they harvest. Then we have Horatio.
Come to pry on the most stunning man in the galaxy again?
Your head is very fascinating.
Originally a wealthy trillionaire, Horatio set out to find his own star system. Along the way, he also found extremely advanced cloning technology. So he made a billion
Whoa,
copies of the
BTS.
most beautiful and gorgeous person to ever exist, which was of course Horatio. And then Horatio thought to himself, what better than to fill the galaxy with beauty? What better than to fill the galaxy with Horatio? Horatio is concerned with pressing matters such as air conditioning. His government,
more Horatio?
accordingly, is an eco-fascist dictatorship.
Make Horatio great again.
Of course, there are
Surprising.
other, less fortunate races than Horatio, but Horatio is not only handsome, he is also brilliant. And
I don't understand Horatio. The entire okay, gotcha. No, I understand it now. The entire faction is a clone of Horatio. Okay.
thus, he finds ways to integrate
What if they all
minority
get one
populations
disease that
by
kills, like-
splicing their genetics with Horatio? Yes,
Oh.
many of your less symmetrical friends and family may simply disappear, but know that their memory will live on inside Horatio.
They are not as symmetrical and therefore not quite as beautiful.
Horatio is a classic case of
Oh.
careful who you call ugly in high school. Because
No.
he just might use the entire galaxy as a glorified eugenics program. The United
Dear
Empire
God.
can be summarized
Oh.
in a single clip.
Oh,
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
What is this?
The United
track.
Empire is an imperialist
Oh, of course it is. It is a war, but I will say,
expansionist federation
Father?
where the will
Oh my
of
God.
the emperor is absolute. Any construction, any technology, any luxury he so desires, the empire provides. For the emperor does not ask, he commands, and the raw influence of his voice can make the impossible into reality. If you want to play not only the most industrious faction, but also the one that generates the most influence just by being industrious, try the United Empire. Propaganda, patriotism, and the greatest of military-industrial complexes await you. Enlist today. Service guarantees citizenship.
I love when you have a faction that's like, we are so cool, we're so cool. We're cool, we make things, we're cool. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, gotcha. Totally get you. You just make things.
So far, everyone I covered at least have the option of diplomacy. But what if that's just not in your nature?
I would never.
What do you sound like?
Oh, evil
when you
faction.
scream?
The Cravers are fucking terrifying. As a leftover bioweapon made by the Virtual Endless, they only have one purpose: consume everything. Any planet with Cravers on it has a fixed life expectancy.
They are coded like
because
that.
The Cravers will rip it, strip it, and tear it apart. And then they move on. There is no long-term plan. There is no sustainability. There is no choice but to consume you as well.
We are coming.
Trees.
You're
Do you
what?
know how
Wait, did they mean it like that?
fast a tree moves? Not very fast. The
I've been so sarcastic today. I need to calm down.
Fallen are
yes,
a
they
race of
did.
trees.
They did.
Speak
I
with
thought
a
they
Scottish
did.
accent.
Why do you pester the heart with your petty needs?
Much like the Scottish,
I kinda
trees
like
are
them.
rooted to the ground. They don't do much, and their only way of winning the game is to ask you politely, do you know how they colonize other planets? They need to slowly, delicately, without interruption, entwine them with celestial vines and hope or pray that they didn't start next to Cravers. If you enjoy pressing and turn and being a vegetable, you'll enjoy
He like
playing
started
the
restarting his
Unfallen.
game.
Imagine being an ostrich. Now, imagine evolving to the point where you're used as arena blood sports for the entertainment of an advanced, decadent civilization. Then,
yeah, by the way, those ostrich kicks can like really break your bones. They like have like huge
that
kicks.
civilization gets wiped out. You get your freedom and form a tribalistic society of samurai ostriches. Then you accidentally stab your katana through a giant ship, and suddenly you're a major faction. The Hisho were added with the Supremacy DLC, together with the main source of tears and salt on the Endless Space 2 forums, Behemoths. Behemoths are multi-purpose capital-class ships. They can support the bureaucracy, plutocracy,
I didn't get to see
or
those other
theocracy,
guys
accelerate
for very long.
genocide, accommodate homicide,
They looked cool.
extract resources in a remote situation, and even terraform planets for improved habitation. They can do anything. That's why they're insanely expensive, and you get very few of them. But that's not why people got upset. They got upset because the Behemoth is a precursor to something a little more concerning. A planet killer is morally dubious, leaves millions of grieving survivors, and generally causes public unrest. A system killer accelerates a megaton nuclear payload directly at the sun, causing it to expand into a red supergiant as the core collapses and begins to fuse hydrogen. In a single nanosecond, all life in that solar system is gonna need some SPF 70 sunscreen. The
I would even garner SPF maybe 100 or 90 at least.
Obliterator is a system
That looks
killer
pretty
which is
bright.
made by upgrading a Behemoth.
Unexplode indeed.
Many updates and patches
That's not-
had no
it's not my
effect
endgame.
on public relations. I found this incredibly
I gotta play this
entertaining
just to do
because
that.
the missile actually has to travel to its destination. It often took several turns for enemy players to see the ball of light quickly approaching their home system. At this point, you will notice something. The chat
what the fuck?
functionality, inside
What
which
the
you will
fuck?
see
Fuck
a
you.
stream of colorful messages calling you a number of racial slurs, after which the player will mysteriously disconnect and add you as a friend on Steam. Even after numerous nerfs, the Hisho stand tall. For the Hisho, combat isn't just about winning, it's about honor, which they call Kai because they're a race of weeaboo samurai chickens. The more honor
I want to. Okay, I just want to see the what they
which
look
they
like.
call Kai because they're a race
They have feathers, but they're robots. There's really not much. They do kind of look like chickens, I guess.
Of weeaboo samurai chickens. The more
Also, that's
honorable
K.
your actions, the more kai you generate, the more
You even wrote it
obedient
right.
your empire. And
just said
if
it
it
wrong.
ever falls too low, just remember, Aztec blood sacrifices are a great way of gaining popularity. Vaulters are the DLC race designed to completely invalidate the Sophons, because for Vaulters, location is no issue. We've got
snack.
portals for that. Disconnected
lizard.
system with no clear star lane, even better. The typical Vaulter player will usually fuck off to the four corners of a galaxy and quietly win a science victory before we can even find them. Also, their mothership
Quietly win the game as we're searching to destroy them.
the Argosy, can be
Oh, it's
used
just
as
armor,
a
gotcha.
two-way portal. I very much enjoy parking outside an enemy system, warping in my obliterator, and cooking them instantaneously. The Riftborn are Tetris blocks
Oh my
from
God.
another universe,
That
which
is a game
currently
changer.
overrun with super aids. In a last act of desperation,
it
the
happens.
Riftborn entered our universe. To them, it's a dystopian reality filled with all manner of squirming, wriggling creatures that piss and shit everywhere. From their perspective, they just took a one-way ticket to hell. However, they don't
That kind of sucks.
judge. They just want to survive. Unlike
Oh, they're actually really cool, Riftborn. So they're not even from like this reality. They're just like, we're escaping space aids, come here. And they're like, oh my God. They're like trying not to gag as they look at like humans pissing shit.
us, Riftborn
like,
aren't
"What is this?
born. They're made in the construction queue. Otherwise, they work a lot like us, except in reverse. Terrestrial planet, I sleep. 1,000-degree lava planet with no trace of life, real shit. Colonize immediately. Hey, it's a race of abstract geometric polygons. Give them a break. Luckily, they can
They don't
also
really
break
care.
reality by compressing or dilating the flow of time.
But, like, when
And
things
if
are
you've ever been
toasty.
to a college fraternity, you'll have no problem
Never been there.
pronouncing their names. The second last DLC, Penumbra, introduced a controversial mechanic. Hacking.
like a
It's a nice way to grab
Greek
intel,
alphabet.
sabotage enemy systems, and of course, accidentally turn a Craver government into a pacifist dictatorship. With that, they also
Oopsie.
added the Umbral Choir. The Umbral Choir is an immaterial, intergalactic wraith with good intentions. Like a ghost in the machine, the Umbral Choir spreads by hacking absolutely everything. Every transmission
Oh my God.
is tapped, every system is compromised, and we have no trace of who did it because the Umbral
They're
Choir
hackers.
doesn't want to be found. How do you fight something you can't see? How do you stop something that's
They're like
already inside the wire?
they're like a
and
gas
if it's already
or what,
inside
or
the
electricity?
wire, then how do you know it isn't inside you already? Honestly, they're extremely fun to play, especially when your friends mouse over a system and ask why half of their GDP keeps disappearing into the Craver Pension
Oh,
Fund.
this is what they look
Finally,
like.
it's a
Craver
good time to
Pension
talk
Fund?
about the last DLC.
It's the tax. You agreed to it.
Awakening, which adds the
When you
a
were
fairly
born.
interesting religious faction that I
Oh.
personally enjoyed, but also adds the Academy as a separate AI-controlled faction. Now, let me tell
Oh.
you why that's a problem. Because the leader of the Academy, bear with me, I don't know how to pronounce his name, because
Isander?
Isandir takes territory, which he doesn't need away from players. He can also enter your territory, destroy your fleets, and siege your planets. But Lord
Oh,
forbid
so he
you
just he necessitates this weird by picking this one faction, you basically spawn in this other AI.
managed to sink one of Isandir's ships, which, by the way, are stronger than any other faction.
Why?
That's an act of aggression, and he's going to ask you to pay reparations. Small
That's a lot
side
of
note,
money.
if you're getting harassed and abused by Isandir and you want him to stop, you can't. Until you discover the location of the Academy, you can't even do diplomacy. Now, let's say you forgive all that. You're open-minded, and you're wondering, what's the point of a new Academy?
I am
Yeah.
once again asking for your financial support.
Every 10 turns, Isandir will ask for your most generous financial contribution to the Academy. The highest contributions will get their preferred position within the Academy. After another 10 turns,
I am
What?
once again asking for your financial support.
also,
DLC
he's
adds
been
them, okay.
expertly programmed to forget any positive relations you had before, which may surprise you, since he'll go back to neutral and start attacking you. Better pay up.
What? Okay, so the AI is just super, super desperate for money.
Up because you can't contribute to the academy until you've paid reparations. If you try to take his home system, he'll demand you give it back and pay reparations. Who the fuck made this shit? Oh right, it's not even the same studio. They outsourced this.
I see. That's good. I mean, I'd rather there be outsourced material that can be like worked with and tweaked, you know? It's fine. Then they can be like, oh, this is a problem, they can tweak it.
Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all! Yeah!
All the other DLC up until Penumbra, fantastic. Love it. Awakening is about $13 you can spend to make the game worse. It's such garbage that even if I got it for free, I'd still ask for a refund. We could talk hours about strategy,
I want a $10
metagame, and the eternal question we always return to. Is Endless Space 2 balanced? No, it is not. There are many mods to try and fix this, but ultimately, part of what makes this game so interesting
What's going on
is
here?
The element of randomness.
Did they make them all anime girls?
And overcome the circumstances to the best of your ability. There's many players out there who will constantly demand you remake the game, citing that they don't have an optimal 5-planet system adjacent to them and can't possibly compete. If you don't, they disconnect. The equivalent of this is being born on planet Earth to a middle-class family and immediately committing suicide to try and re-roll for better RNG, because if I can't be born as the son of a wealthy Middle Eastern sheikh, I may as well not be born. Endless Space 2 is a wonderfully designed and beautifully made game with such a level of pace and intrigue that I actually bought a legal copy. I've played it for 2 years and I still keep coming back. It satisfies
2 years, all right.
Legal copy. I've
he's put 300 some hours in.
Played it for 2 years, and I still keep coming back. It satisfies every tick box I ever wanted for a civilization game in space. It's enjoyable and relaxing,
what I kept
both
saying,
in
it's
single player and in multiplayer. You're probably going to desynchronize before anyone actually gets angry. I like the music, and I enjoy amphibious mommy milkers. I give Endless Space 2
enjoy that
an
as well.
extremely high score.
Now
I'm also
now I
issuing
kinda wanna
a
play it,
public
but
fatwa against
I don't have
anyone
time for this, right?
responsible for the Awakening DLC. This time, there's no discount because my inside man had a talk with Sega. Their formal response: fuck off. So I recommend waiting for a sale, buying on disc. Fuck.
Fuck off.
So
he
I
actually
recommend
got the
waiting for a
writing
sale,
right.
buying on discount, or using other legal methods of purchase that I am not yet aware of. As always, more
I've never seen. What did he do?
Content to come, so stay tuned. I'm
Holy
sorry
shit.
for all the delays. Streaming really put me back. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all
my gosh.
truly.
Hold on. Let me see it. So you're telling me this guy has a Patreon that you right now can go join, and the membership. What? His membership is only $1? Are you serious? What? This guy's crazy.